Hello, dear ladies and gentlemen. The first group, including Bauerjan Tohtarбай, Isa Emir Ardakulu, Nurmakan Jolshbek, and Chandos Bissarinov, presents the topic How to Cycle Like a Pro or Cycling Tips for Triathletes. The problems of the research is the old problems which cyclists might face during the race are getting dropped by the peloton, not able to place yourself in the right move, managing your energy, intimidation from other riders. The cycling biomechanics represents a complex interaction between a rider and cycle. Research clearly demonstrates that body positions impacts on cycling comfort, performance and injury. Consequently, we developed our scientific three-step integrated benefit package designed to harmonize man and machine, which utilizes a multidisciplinary approach. First of them, man and machine. Efficient injury-free cycling requires perfect harmony between man and machine. Harmony is achieved through proper setup parameters, which called bike fit, at the three contact points, saddle, pedals, and handlebars. Just as cycles are designed to be discipline specific, like for example mountain bike, road bike, and a triathlon bike, it follows that cyclists should adopt disciplined scientific body positions for given cycling demands. The second technique for analyze is the 3 points of contact. From the conception of the bicycle in 19th century, all cyclists to a greater or lesser extent have relied on a 3-point contact, including saddle, pedals, and the handlebars. Optimal positioning bike fitting involves the manipulation of these 3 points of contact in relation to each other. And the third technique for analysis is the 3 classic riding positions. Efficient interaction between the rider and the cyclist of primary importance is maximizing cycling performance. As such, cycle setup and body position should be discipline specific to reflect the demands of the chosen cycling discipline and rider objectives. Essentially, most cycling disciplines can fit into one of 3 classic body positions, namely recreational and commuting position, road race cyclists and sportive riders, road triathlon aero position. Also, 3 above represent classic positions. They frequently overlap and form a continuum.
There are 3 points of contact of the cyclist with the cycle. First one is a hand on the handlebars, second is the pelvis on the saddle, and the last one is a foot on the pedal. Something to be aware of that areas can undergo sustained amount of pressure and compression, which can cause numbness, pain, and weakness. There are 2 main phases of the pedal cycle, the power phase and the recovery phase. If you imagine the pedal cycle as a clock phase and you start with the pedal at 12 o'clock, this point is known as a top dead center. Next one is about bike fit. A correctly fitted bike can prevent many of the overuse injuries that occur from poor position. It also means you can get the more comfort and can ride better and faster. The correct position varies from person to person depending on factors like age, style of riding, and physical attributes like flexibility and anatomical variance. There is a lot of research around the optimum cadence or pedaling rate. Beginners should not try to push cadence too high. They should begin with keep at cadence that is manageable, but over time look to increase this. Being comfortable, it means a cadence of 90 to 100 rate per minute is a good target. It will improve the ability to sustain cycling over long periods of time and distances. Forcing yourself to pedal faster than you are comfortable with will not improve your results. However, if you are slowly chugging along at 50 or 60 rate per minute, you will benefit from practicing at increased cadence. It will do your knees a favor if nothing else. And the next point is about power distribution. Equal power distribution between each leg is important, and you should aim for 50% of power production from each leg. The distribution of forces across the pedal stroke has a huge impact on efficiency, which in turn can increase power and bike speed. And also you should practice single leg drills. Because you are aiming for equal power distribution in each leg, it's important that they are both as strong as each other. Initially, try not to focus on both left and right sides at once. This can be quite confusing. Start with the focus on the one side and then other, and then alternate the focus on each side within one session. As the cyclist becomes more skilled, it is easier to focus on left and right sides at the same time. So pull your pedals in semicircles. Normally the most important aspect of pedaling is to pull backwards at the bottom of the pedal stroke. As pedal moves towards the bottom, switch from a pushing down motion to a pulling back moment. Cyclists are often told to try to pedal in circles. This should be avoided. It should be more likely two semicircles pushing down than pulling back. A left semicircle followed by a right semicircle. With a seamless transition from the left pull back to the right push down, then repeat on the other side. And work on your core. A strong, stable core helps maintain a good riding posture and smooth pedaling technique. Anything you do in the gym should be specific and transferable to cycling, such as split squats and single leg squats. Every cyclist should be able to hold a plank, do bodyweight squats and press-ups. Think of your bike saddle as a bar stool you perch on, not an armchair that you slump in.
Torque is generated by application of a force in a specific direction of a distance from a pivot point. Torque is directly proportional to the tangential force and the distance it's applied from the pivot. Body has several forces producing torque in each joint, what we all call force couples. Several muscles are pulling in different directions to produce a single rotation about a joint. So, in this case, the total torque is the sum of all those torques acting in a different direction. If there is an opposite torque, we also have to factor that in as well. This video analysis was made in Kinavia experimental software. It allows us to measure angles of hip, knee, and ankle joints in every position of a cycle movement. Knowing this information, a coach can analyze movements of an athlete to improve posture or a force application on a crank of a bike to eventually improve pedaling technique.
According to a survey in 2014, estimated that over 43% of the United Kingdom population have access to a bike, and 8% of the population aged from 5 and above cycles 3 or more times a week. And according to the survey about Kazakhstan, we have about 85 cyclists every hour. With such a large amount of people cycling, whether it be professional, recreational, or for commuting, this increases the chance of developing an injury. 3 points of contact. There are 3 points of contact in cycling, meaning 3 points of the body that make contact with the bike. The first one, pelvis on the saddle. The second, hand on the handlebars. The third one, foot on the pedal. Something to be aware of is that this area can undergo sustained amount of pressure and compression, which can cause numbness, pain, and weakness. As we mentioned before, there are two main phases of the pedal cycle, the power phase and the recovery phase. If you imagine that pedal cycles as a clock phase and you start with the pedal at 12 o'clock, this is known as TDC, which stands for top dead center. The pedal is then pushed down from 12 until 6 o'clock. This position is known as BDC, which stands for bottom dead center. The phase between the two is known as the power phase, where all the force is generally generated to propel the bike forward. And in conclusion, there are several things what we should control during cycling. Normally fitted bike prevents many of the obvious injuries that occur from poor position. And cadence should be in comfortable range from 90 to 100 RPM. Power distribution should be equal on both sides. Single leg drills to equalize both legs' power. Pulling pedals in semicircle more productive. And the last, a strong stable core help maintain a good riding posture and smooth pedaling technique.